Hello everyone, welcome to a fourth round of this season. We are here at the Japanese Grand Prix, and it is back for ARL Alpha Racing League for the fourth time of the season. We are here for Tier 1 in Season 3. I am PMBO5, and I am joined by Milo Gaming. How are you, Milo?
Very good, thank you. Yeah, it almost looked like I wasn't going to make commentary today, but I'm here, just a bit of misunderstanding, and
Yeah.
I've been looking forward to this.
Yeah, I was gonna say a bit of more misunderstanding was as well the lobby time and everything else, which we've got figured out now. But we've experienced before the stream, which we wanted to speak about, was some lag in this lobby. So just be aware there is some lag in this lobby, and you will be seeing some lag at some points, and probably some interval gap glitches and everything else that you will usually see. I couldn't get my English out there for a moment, but yeah, the stuff that you will usually see. Oh, that's so hard to say. Stuff that you will usually see during a Codemasters to F1 2020 game race, but you might see it more frequently. With that being said, you have a few things I want to speak about. Polo, he had the time zone curse to him. Now, not many people know what that is, but I do know what that is. What that is that I made a little bet with him. Saying, hey, if you crash in these next few races, Azerbaijan or Japan, you have to change your time zone to American time zone until you get your next podium. I made the bet. He accepted it. Boom. And he crashed in Azerbaijan. He got some damage, and he he changed it right as soon as it happened. So yeah, Japan, you can definitely tell so far, is a tough track for the pad players. We'll have to find out how the wheel players do adapt to this, because I love seeing something different. I love seeing the wheel players have an advantage here in this type of race. What about you, Milo?
Yeah, and just on the course of the wheel pad topic, pad player Jack has gone 13th, and he's second in the championship. So this is going to be a bit of a rough ride for him today if he can't compete with the smooth running wheel players. So yeah, this is going to be really interesting.
F1 driver said pad OP here. I don't know about that. I mean, we've heard a ton about the whole pad OP, but I think this race, I think the wheel players, we've seen they can give a challenge, and that's the case. We've seen it in time trial, but can we actually see it in the race? We'll have to find out. Track position did mean a lot here yesterday, especially in the Tier 3 race, Milo. Tier 3, it really showed track position meant a lot, and so did it in Tier 2, because most that top 5, most that top 6 stayed the same unless there was any crashes. Most that stayed the same after all the safety car restarts and stuff like that. And as well as the Tier 3, there was a late race safety car. People who stayed out, they got the advantage, and they took better finishes than the people who didn't. We saw a chaotic Tier 3 race. Let's start with that. Tier 3, hell, I mean, we didn't just have cars crashing on the last lap. We had cars flipping on the last lap. That's how chaotic it was.
Yeah, that cart moment was quite dramatic, to say the least. He didn't get any points from the race and ended up upside down in a gravel trap.
Yeah, and it ended up with Raptor being the first repeat winner of Tier 3 this season. And Hissy, just a tenth short of his first victory. I mean, for Hissy, he's been in the league for a while. It's been since Britain of Tier 2, Season 1. He's been in the league since, and he's been so close so many times, Milo. When is that first win going to come for Hissy? Is it going to be coming, this season, in the future? When will it come? Because Hissy's came so many close so many times and been in the position to win so many times.
Yeah, I hope it comes soon for him. He's been in the points for all 4 races in the Tier 3 season, so he's looking incredibly consistent, and it's only a matter of time. I'm gonna throw one spoiler. It's like the Albon situation.
Yeah,
That's
true.
It's so close. There's spins. There's strategy woes. There's stuff like that just gets in the way, but then it comes, and it's just relief. But yeah, congratulations to Albon, by the way. very, very well
Yeah.
done today. And same with Hissy, he deserves the same credit for tier 3.
That's true. Now to tier 2, I want to talk about that quickly. Tier 2, you could say, I mean, this season, you've not been the fastest guy, you've not been the slowest, but you've been kind of around that midfield. It's been a struggle at the start of the season, but now you finally get a 5th place finish. Happy were you with that one?
Yeah, I knew some of the drivers around me had penalties and stuff, so I just took it quite cautiously at the end, to be honest. It was effectively another race of attrition with drivers spinning out whenever they felt like it in both tiers yesterday. So yeah, I was really delighted with that. Yeah, that's hopefully a sign of things to come. But we also saw, just while we were on about track position earlier, Patriot had it. It's so easy to lose it with an error. So whoever's leading today has got to watch those curbs, because it can, yeah, end your race if you're not careful.
Yeah, and that's true. And Patriot, you know, I mean, that's something I think you know as well. It was wheel players, all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, you know, tier 2, we've seen. I'd say it's been, I think every winner this season has been a wheel player. No, Atlantis was the only one who wasn't. He was Pat at Azerbaijan. But my point is that wheel hadn't been that dominant before. It'd only been like 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, something like that. But now it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in this race, and they kind of showed this is more of a wheel track than people kind of thought heading into this weekend. Will that show the same for tier 1, Milo?
I think so. Qualifying is evident with Polo up in 6, so he's doing really quite well considering the fact he clicked spectator at the start of this session. So yeah, it's a wheel top 5 currently. I'm not saying that's how it finishes, but one that very important around Japan. They seem to have the upper hand on the wheel.
For Jack and Pluto to be sitting down 14th, 15th right now, that's not good for them. They're one championship right now. That could be very big. I want to keep in mind some people making, their first start or changing a gamer tag. Kevin H, I just went to try to go to him, and he's retired. That's on track. ABS Jarvis out. But by the way, Kevin H, HH02, he is making his first start as a reserve. If I am correct, he is the first Mexican driver in this league, if I'm correct. I want to say I am on that. I don't consider Brew Gorgon because he's technically American, but he is the first Mexican driver in this league. Kostag, as well, first Greek driver in this league. He is making his first start. You also have ABS Jarvin, a full-time ride for the first time since last season. Sam Cole, that's Rumbly Fungus. Keep that in mind. And that's really about it. That's all you have for first-timers and some other stuff. We broke 2 records today. That could possibly be broken today if we see chaos happen again like Tier 3 did. Tier 3, we saw the closest pole margin ever. 2 1,000s. 2,000s it was. Between first and second. Could we see that today again? Don't know. It's the final 50 seconds of qualifying. You also had the closest race victory gap. Almost less than a tenth. It was close, but just coming up short Hissy was. And that race victory gap was very close. In the end, it wasn't the closest ever, but it was pretty darn close. And now Jack is out of the session and retired at the end of this qualifying session. He's down in 14th. It's not good for him at all, especially considering he was the favorite heading into the season, and this was where he was going to struggle, but I didn't think he was going to struggle this bad. Anyways, you got GSR Pluto on an outlap. You also have people starting laps as well. I believe that's Kostag, 5/1000 stop. But there's another AlphaTauri. That is Ricochet. He just spun, I think, but he has a 5-second penalty. The line crosses the checker flag.
Final corner.
Yeah, and that's very interesting to bring up because he was 3/10 up. He would have took pole by a long margin. You have Nathan Aiken, who's completed the checker flag, down in 9th. Cannot get any better. There's the Red Bull. ARL Cobra, that is. 2/10 up on pole position. He's going to really try for this one. He's going to go second. So close. Racing Point of such J has to go into the pits, but there's Kostag. Pluto's on an outlap. I don't know if he'll be able to make it back to the checker flag, but Kostag currently into the final corners for the final time. Where can he go? 14th.
Now
behind
F1
that,
driver.
Pluto
Oh!
gets a lap in. F1 driver to the top. Another pole position for him. The Ferrari of Jab, 5th for him. You also have Kagoda as well. He's a 10th up or 10th down, but he invalidated on his lap. Tax, nowhere to improve on this time at all. Polo God, he's the only one left, and Pluto as well, who glitched his way to get to a lap. That's very interesting.
Yeah,
Waiting
just
on the
as
final
well,
two.
Axe stayed 4th. He improved on his lap time, but it wasn't enough. Speedy Midget, he's got to be so disappointed to have been validated. He would have been on pole if he'd completed the lap without exceeding the track limit, but it is what it is.
We'll have to see. Polo comes to the line now. He gets stuck behind Nathan Aiken, and he's had to retire from the session. Pluto as well, invalidated as well. Their laps are complete. F1 driver, Speedy Midget, that's a front row. It's a wheel 1, 2, 3, 4, but you have the first pad players of Jab and Polo God, and then Such J as well. 5th, 7th, 8th. Interesting. And another close qualifying session at the front. You look at how close 5th through 12th is. That's a total of 3/10 between them, and that's very close. And Pluto, the championship leader, starts down in 16th, currently outside the top 10. Jack as well. They're going to look to gain positions. They're going to look to get a good start. You have the starting lineup, F1 driver, Speedy Midget. That's the front row. Speedy Midget looking for a first victory. Aero Cobra, Axe, their 3rd and 4th. Second row, Jab rounds out the top 5. Ricochet, Polo God, Such J, Kagoda, Nathan Aiken, all rounding out that top 10. You have, though, outside the top 10, I think names that could possibly improve on their positions. Tax, Sam Cole, Rumbifungus, Jarv, Jack, Pluto. And I want to keep in mind V2 Combat didn't be able to get in a good time at all, or even time at all. I don't even think a time at all, because I'm saying that. He was disqualified from the session early on, and he now sits to the point where it's going to be questionable of how this race goes for him.
Yeah, just a word on Jack's starting position. I'm pretty sure he's not that slow. It's just Axe's quickly submitted a ticket saying turn off Park Ferme, which suggests that he either hasn't got a setup on or has put the wrong one on.
That's interesting to think now. Yeah, so that's probably why he's been far down, but he was ahead of Pluto. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm looking at the... Yeah, Axe said he's F'd, I see, and then that's all I see. I have no clue what happened to him, but that's what I see on my screen right now. 10 seconds until we get to the formation lap, until we get the ones to watch in this race. Why is Paulo 20th, it says? What?
Is he?
What? It says Paulo's 20th from the game.
Oh, I think he is. He
What?
is.
What? What?
Esports
What?
ready.
Oh my god, this game. What? Paulo just kind of cursed himself. I'll take 7th considering this is my worst track. The game
Oh,
has
no.
put him Oh my lord. Oh my lord. Brew Gorgon's been disqualified. But here is my favorites. F1 driver currently on pole. Another pole position for him. Can this be where he breaks that winless drought of 17-8? Well, it's definitely more than 17 now. It's definitely about 18, 19 races he's had since his last victory, since the top step of the podium. It's been so long. Is this the day he's going to do it? I have Speedy Midget as well on a wheel. Tell me or not, he sweated out this race, and he is going to be looking to do a lot with that. He is my favorite because, again, you look at the last race in Baku, he was contending for a podium, just cut short of it. Couldn't do so. Soft to hard, soft mediums, you see the strategy. And you also are going to have, I'm going to put as well, excuse me, for a favorite. Yeah, and Paula says this game continues to surprise me. I'm also gonna put for a favorite. In fact, I'm gonna go with Pluto. Pluto, the only pad player I'm going with. He, in fact, back in 2019, there was a league that he was in. I'm pretty sure that he enjoyed racing this track. If he enjoys racing this track, if he doesn't lose any confidence from that qualifying position, I think this might be the day where he can actually take advantage of his championship rivals and not lose too many points. I think today he'll be fine. Milo, who are your 3 favorites?
Yeah, speaking of championship rivals, we've got ARL Cobra, and he is only 10 points off the championship lead and starts 3rd with the 2 in front of him outside the top 10. So this could be a massive turning point for him. So, yeah, there is one to watch for you. And as well, I'm going to go for 4th place in the championship. Nathan Aitken, a winner. So, 9th place, qualified inside the top 10. The last of the worn soft runners, effectively. And then, we're going to squeeze another one in. I'm going to go Polo from the back. You know, he doesn't deserve that starting position at all. Unfortunately, he's now just got to get on with it. And, yeah, we'll see what he can do.
Keep in mind, Polo's only podiums have come at Asian tracks. This is an Asian track, Japan. Keep that in mind. Just want to put that out there. Anyways, we come for the 5 red lights this time for the Grand Prix. See people in chat. Hello, Aaron Ocon to you. Make sure you guys tune in chat as well. Get some predictions in. Here come the 5 red lights upon us here at Japan for the Grand Prix. We are lights out and away we gone. I think Speedy Midget got a decent start, but they're going to be slipstreaming down to turn 1. They're wheel to wheel. Speedy Midget's got a great start. They're side by side. Speedy Midget trying around the inside, but F1 driver runs a bit wide. But there's the Williams there of Act to challenge. Cobra fell down a position as well, but Speedy Midget took the lead. Pluto, down the order. Keep that in mind. Through the S as we go for the first time. Speedy Midget's kept this lead, but keep in mind Nathan Aitken right on Ricochet. Ricochet has a time penalty from last week because of running into the safety car. 5-second penalty he had, and he is going to have to serve it at some point in this race. But here we go for the hairpin for the first time in this race. People got to be careful of their braking points and know what they're doing. Be very cautious into the turn because that's Sam Cole battling Tax, and there's ABS Jarv as well to battle him. ABS Jarv, his previous best finish was 10th 3 times. He's definitely looking to improve on that as it goes to a full-time seat at Racing Point. Kostag, there he goes around. Contact with Atlantis.
I think
Ricochet
so.
gets by jab as well. Something, yeah. He's fell down the order. He's fell down now 2 positions from all that. Ricochet running a bit wide there at 130R, just losing a bit of traction. But Nathan Aitken around the outside. He locks up and goes into him. He is
Wing
spun
damage.
round. Speedy Midget still leads the race. With this being said, DRS enabled on the... Well, no, it's not. In fact, this is the 2nd lap. What is this game?
And that is definitely... Please tell me you can see this. This is confusing
I can't see
now.
this.
Oh my god.
I can't see this. But the 2 teammates at the Mercedes are running near each other. That's Kagoda and Tax. These 2 have been very equal and very close this season. Yeah. I see the reference there in chat, but anyways, Dribble MSU picks up almost had a 5-second time penalty. That's a 3-second penalty. I can't see. Anyways, Axe currently runs on a podium position here as things stand as well. Cobra challenging him. Cobra got a podium last week. He equaled, well, not equal, but or still has the record for the most podiums in this league. He reached 20 podiums last week. An achievement for him that he'd be a good record to think about. Keep in mind where the championship contenders are at right now. Pluto back in 16th. Jack 12th. You have ABS Jarv and Tax. They're wheel to wheel. These 2 are finished buddies. ABS Jarv trying to protect for him. They're about to be 3 wide here. Jack is right in the back of these guys. Can Jack make a double overtake from this? Jack, will he go down the inside? Is it going to be perfect for him? And yeah, he's gone through.
Oh, and almost loses the car on the exit of the chicane.
some oversteer you don't want to have. Pitting is Nathan Aiken, locking up right there, but he has damage. Atlantis running behind Kevin H as well. This is for 13th place behind there as well. Tax, Jarv, Chak? Who's Chak? No, Dad? Jack, Jarv, Tax, all running near one another. This is for the lower points positions. Two of these guys are outside the points, and Jarv and Tax all trying to improve on finishing positions from this season. There's yellow
Polo?
flags at the back. That is Polo.
Oh dear.
Not so good for him to start off this race. I mean, the game is glitching back there, and I think that was a bit unfair. I think, I think sending something to Codemasters an angry message would probably be the only thing, but they're not going to do nothing, let's be honest. 5/10 separates the race lead one more time as well. F1 driver has wasted a little bit of his overtake button, but is doubted what he's wanting to do. Kevin H off the racetrack, getting passed by Pluto. Jarvis trying to go on Jack right now. This is the overtake button engaged for a moment, but this is into 130R now. They're not close enough. Polo God goes by Kevin as well. Again for the race lead. Overtake buttons engaged. F1 drivers really want to get by. Ooh. Jack speeds into the pit lane for his first stop. Is this a wing change? No, it's not. Jarv gets by Tax, but keep in mind, problems Jack is having. How crucial is it for him to get a good finish and try to gain on someone like Pluto in the championship right now? Milo.
Yeah, well, Pluto... well, with the championship right now, Pluto is 14th. And on hard tyres, so he's going long into this race. This could benefit him later on, and he might be able to take a good points haul. Cobra still 4th, and he would go ahead of both of them as it stands. This could condense massively into a gap of only 2 or 3 points as it stands. So this for the championship as well. Speedy Midget's still got some hope if we can start racking up wins where others can't. Who knows what the rest of the race has in store, but you've got to look at the bigger picture, like you've asked me, and that is what we've got.
Polo goes by Pluto. This is at 130R. Polo around the inside at 130R. That was very bold, but Pluto trying to dive back down the inside. Sam Cole gets by Jab as well. That's for 7th. But yeah, if you're someone like F1 driver, you want to keep in mind, of course, yes, he spun in Bahrain, but oh, yellow flags at the back. That's Kostak. No, that's Pluto is pedaling with Polo again. Keep in mind, but yeah, that is Kostak for the yellow flags, by the way. And yeah, Pluto actually losing time from this as well. He's had some sort of issue because he's fell back about a second from that. Those two were side by side just a moment ago. But what I was explaining was, if you're F1 driver, you got to keep in the back of your mind a spin is possible anytime. At the start of the race especially, keep in mind of Bahrain. But he was close in China. Azerbaijan was not the best race for him. He thought after Azerbaijan, all right, his championship hopes are over, pack it up, go home. You know, stuff like that. That I had spoke to him. He had said he wasn't very confident about his championship hopes. If you're an F1 driver and you see your rivals such as Pluto, Jack, all struggling, are you happy at least with second, or do you want to go for more?
I mean, everyone wants to go for more. Oh, sorry, here comes Such. Inside of 130R. Can he do it? Oh, and he forces Cobra wide.
That was a bit aggressive, but he's got that to work. Polo on Atlantis as well. These two are rivals. This is around the outside of 130R. Polo trying the long way around. They're side by side at the chicane now. Polo has got ahead, but Atlantis really trying to put his car in a place it may not belong. Fair racing between them two. Tax gets by ABS Jarv as well. But yeah, I mean, I've really got to think, though, if I'm, you know, someone such as Speedy Midget, F1 driver, and I could also include, you know, I could really honestly include Rumbly Fungus, Sam Cole. If you're one of those guys, push for better. But what else can you do different to try to get yourself in the hunt? Because I don't know about you. Would you say France is a wheel or a pad track, Milo? Because I'm thinking it's a bit even on both sides, and we'll have to find out what the skill gap is. I feel like it's even on both sides at France because we've seen people who've been a wheel and pad both win there. In ARL, I felt like that track has been equal between wheel and pad players. So I feel like next week we'll see an equal race. But if you're F1 driver, Speedy Midget, are you just hoping for more bad trouble for Pluto Jack? What are you kind of hoping for at this point as well? Because the last thing they'd want is a safety car.
Yeah, just to answer your first question, I think it's quite balanced. I'm not leaning towards either side of that pad wheel debate at France because I was just watching Jarv there. He almost had an almighty accident into the pit wall. Wow, that was close. But yeah, there's not too many heavy
Jack and
traction
Brugorgan are
zones.
side by side at 130R. This is very close. Brugorgan gets forced out wide, but that's Jack ahead. Anyways.
Yeah, but and as well, Speedy Midget can't really do much more here. He's just got to preserve the lead, not get any penalties, and avoid doing the spin. So he can't control what's going on back there with Pluto and Jack, but he can't get too distracted over it either because it will get to him and maybe he'll go a step too far.
If I'm Speedy Midget as well, I'm thinking, you know, F1 driver, if he's watching the stream, I don't know if any of them are watching the stream, but I'm thinking F1 driver locks up. I'm thinking about the ERS advantage Speedy Midget has right now. He can use a bit of it and get away with it. I'm looking through the top 5. As such, Jay really on the best ERS right now. If a safety car comes out, of course, I mean, yeah, he's going to have the best ERS right now, but he does not want a safety car because everyone gets bunched up back with that ERS, and he will have the advantage if pit stops do come into play because right now as the podium position stands, it's Axe in the podium, and it's a wheel 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 9, 10.
And in the middle of that
Out is Kevin.
Oh, he's retired on track, hasn't he? So I'm not too sure what that will cause. But yeah, Such in the middle of that, he's right on the back of Cobra, who's right on the back of Axe. So Such is in the genuine fight for a podium here. What a result that would be. He did it in Baku, and can he do it again?
Yeah, Kevin H, I don't know if he had to go or was just frustrated with her. I don't know what was going on, but he has decided to retire. The first retirement in this race. V2 Combat to come in for the pits. He has gone on to the hards in this race.
We might see some drivers,
Yeah, I'm assuming.
well, front runners coming in this lap.
Yeah, I was just gonna say yeah, that's probably the case because that's when they came around in tier 3, tier 2 yesterday. But yeah, I would not be surprised if Kevin he had to go or something, or he had to, you know, only make half the race if that was the case. I don't know, but that is his first start over already. 7/10 separates the gap between the race lead. We'll have to find out if they're coming in this time. We saw a mix of different strategies yesterday, Milo. Some people go soft to hard, such as Sam, and then there was others who gone softs to mediums, and both worked out very well. What?
Hards are your best bet when pitting on lap 8, but Axe does stay out, as does F1 driver. So maybe I've just got a little icon saying pit window open for mediums. But yeah, Speedy Midget on the mediums, so these guys taking a bit of a gamble. Kagoda on hards. We could have a split here, and wow, I think it's personal preference.
Yeah, I'm not sure what we're gonna see because we have two people pitted. V2 gone on the hards. You know, I'm quite curious to see the different strategies between F1 driver, Axe, Cobra, Such, and Speedy Midget. The top 5 it was. So quite interested to see that. Atlantis was close to Pluto. Atlantis at a Red Bull. He probably don't want to do much as he's only a tier 1 reserve, Atlantis, and that's his team leader right in front of him. He probably don't want to attack him, but he may kind of help himself out though to get another points finish because Atlantis did get the points finish in his last race in tier 1 at China. That was help of some punctures, but of course it's always nice to get a points finish when you're reserving half the time.
Yeah, I mean, you've always got to impress when you're a reserve because you want to be in that tier. And obviously, Atlantis being a tier 2 driver, I'm sure in the future he'd like to be more competitive in tier 1. Yeah, he's doing very well. As now we're starting to see the pit stops. Oh, Such has gone in hard and hit Cobra.
Oh!
Ah, yikes.
That's not good for Such. Ricochet stays out, Tax stays out, but you see the difference in tires. Everyone going for the mediums. Where will Speedy Midget come out compared to everyone else? Speedy Midget's on the front straight now. F1 driver coming out of the pits. It's going to be Speedy Midget still ahead. We saw pit accidents yesterday at the exit of the pit lane, but Pluto does get ahead of Atlantis. Well, is still ahead of Atlantis, but is split between the two Red Bulls. And you also have Sam Cole in the mix as well. You have a lot of people who've yet to pit as well. Well, I mean, you look at Jarv, Tax, Ricochet, Pluto, Atlantis. They could come into play in the dirty air, these guys.
Such actually lost positions there to Sam Cole, Jab, and Kagoda, who he wasn't fighting with before. He was well clear of those guys, but well, not anymore.
Now, I just want to ask the chat and just want to ask yourself, Milo. I want to ask everyone, when do you think a safety car will come out, and if it will come out or not? We saw many safety cars in Tier 3 and Tier 2 yesterday. We saw about 2 or 3 in Tier 2, and we saw in Tier 3 about like 4 of them. Is it possible?
Well, if somebody goes off into a barrel, I think that's the trigger. I can't predict when. I think it'll be closer to the end if it does happen, when the tyres start to get a bit worn. Ooh. And the drivers become more impatient. I always say things like this, but I think that's the most likely point in the race. We'll get one late on.
Such Jay and Kagoda as well. He's going to get that position, but Atlantis and Sam Cole were really fighting hard, and coming out of the pits is Ricochet. He's going to come up behind Pluto, but right into the path of Sam Cole. He's got to be careful with that one, because that could have been a near collision, almost like yesterday where you had Utah and Fruticos as well, them guys running into one another. But I think the thing, like you mentioned as reserves, how I mentioned earlier, with Atlantis, I think the thing people don't get as reserves is they're trying to prove a point that they deserve a ride. They deserve a full-time seat. Sometimes you don't have, but they're trying to see or improve that. While yes, they have to be careful around the rest of them, or around most of the regular drivers. Yes, they do, but they're also trying to prove a point as well. They're not just sitting here just for the fun, but here goes Ricochet down the inside just before the hairpin. And there's contact.
There's damage.
Atlantis. And he's been spun around, and he's just sat there at the exit of the hairpin. You have Pluto and Such J who are trying to go side by side there. But does Pluto have damage now? No, he does not. Such J originally did. He fixed that wing, and I want to keep an eye on the rest of the field if they have any damage as well. They do not. I don't see any damage from the rest of the field as well in this race. F1 driver taking that fastest lap. Kagoda on Pluto again. These two are rivals. Keep Kagoda trying to gain on Pluto as well. This is into turn 1. It's not close enough. They both have DRS. But Jab is really trying on Sam Cole because he knows he might have the faster car, and he knows he's probably the best, I'd say right now at least, pad player in this race, at least the highest one in the net positions. But at this point in the race, he knows he has a chance to get by, but he's just slower through the S's. You can see right now.
Pagoda's still right on the back of Pluto.
Yeah, I just lost track of that for a moment. I was just searching through the field. Atlantis goes to pit under hards. Kostag as well under the hards. I don't know what really happened at the hairpin, but there was contact with I believe it was Sam Cole or Jab, one of the two, and that sent Atlantis spinning, and it ended up in him being spun out, so that didn't help in the end. And you have Jack down the order. There's been a problem out of the hairpin for him. He's lost places now.
What I saw at the hairpin incident, I noticed that Pluto actually went into AI, Sam Cole went down the inside. Oh, contact there between Such and Jab, and then that just kind of caused a bit of a chain reaction behind, and I think that's where the contact was made.
Ooh. Pluto and Kagoda got very close to one another. And it could have ended worse than it did, of course. I know I hype it up a little bit too much sometimes with those two. You don't know what could happen, though, because those two were the two graduates from Tier 2. Nathan Aiken trying on V2 combat to the outside at turn 1 this time. They're wheel-to-wheel. Nathan Aiken off the racetrack, though. V2 was really forcing it in there. And V2, Nathan, they stay in the same positions that they were in. Come on, only 14 viewers? What the heck? We need to get more. But no, anyways, between F1 Driver and Speedy Midget, it is close as we almost reached the halfway point. What is Tax and Drive going to be betting on? Because where they are expected to come out right now is around the 11th, 10th position, but Pluto as well as yet to pit. Where things stand, Tax, Jarv, they're going mediums to hards as things look. Speedy Midget is going to probably give Jarv the DRS. Actually not. Jarv comes into the pits, pitching. But F1 Driver and Speedy Midget, look at that. Fastest lap.
That is a mega lap from F1 Driver, and he's really, really starting to show his pace now. Since pitting, you know, that gap early on in this stint was about over 1 second, but now he's really started to close up, got those tyres into a good range, and wants to get past the McLaren because he badly wants this race when he's still gunning for the championship, which he's yet to win in Tier 1. So if he wants to help himself later on in the season, he needs these 25 points.
He needs to also have the confidence, and I see Kagoda go wide there, that's picked him up a penalty. But yeah, he needs to have the confidence to make moves and, you know, make it at the right time. He's made moves, but I'm saying make it at the right time because you don't want to misjudge a move being made, and you don't want to screw your own race over from it, because I've seen F1 Driver do that before, and this time he's in the prime position to win a race again. It's been, what, 16, 17, 18, 19 races since the last victory for him. So, it's been a while. You see back at the midfield as well. Paulo got as close to Nathan Aiken. V2 Combat is close there as well. Paulo got is starting to gain on Nathan Aiken. This isn't a 130R. He's just not close enough, but the overtake button is engaged. And he is at 0% ERS, no ERS left. He's going to dive down the inside at the chicane. That was probably not going to work ever.
Yeah, starting to form a little bit of a DRS train back there, which will make it more difficult to pass. Oh, and Jack is out of the race in the pit lane. I was going to ask what that would cause, maybe a safety car, but no, it's in the pit lane. But still, massive, massive moment. Jack out of the race.
Wow. He has got to be bummed about that one because this has been a bad race for him. He can only hope for his rival, Pluto, not to score much points and him not to get eaten up too much. Simple as that. Yellow flag, that's, I don't even know where that's
Still
at. That's
Jack,
Jack's car. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like covering the whole racetrack, it seemed, from the game. F1 Driver may have just got a warning right there for just extending a little bit on the curb. Speedy Midget only has a warning. F1 Driver, yeah, it's invalidated lap time. It didn't show a penalty, though, so I'm not sure why that is. But F1 Driver is into turn 1 this time with Speedy Midget. He's going to try to dive down the inside here. Third wheel to wheel, and he goes around.
Gonna work.
Backs it into the barrier, and he is spun round. That was for the race lead. And he has got to be fuming with that one. We were just speaking about him being in a race-winning position again. and it's been 19 races since Italy, and he might have to suffer for another one.
It's not really an overtaking zone on the inside there. You have to be pretty much ahead to want yourselves any space into that corner. Speedy Midget was just taking the racing line. Yeah, there's that could have been avoided.
Yeah, I see a racing incident right there. I think, again, Speedy Midget. Oh, that was Kagoda trying down the inside for a moment. But I think Speedy Midget, he committed to the line already, and the F1 driver was just on his rear tire. Should more room have been given? I don't know, but turn 1 is very hard on the inside to go and overtake someone, so it is a bit tough. And yeah, Jack had said he hates himself, so yeah, you could tell how frustrated Jack is from the race and from his retirement. But now Kagoda into 130R and GSR Pluto. He's going down the inside at 130R. They're wheel to wheel, but Pluto keeps it around the outside.
Oh, Jarv again. He's done the same thing, losing it and ending up in that inside wall.
Kagoda and Pluto now at turn 1. Kagoda's around the outside, but he has to run wide. Oh, look at the traction. Keep in mind, this also puts Axe back into a podium position. The last time he was on the podium was the same race F1 driver won. That was back in Japan. Or not Japan. Wow, we never raced in Japan before. No, this was back in Italy. 19 races ago. It was long enough. And Jarv hits the back of Kagoda. Gets a little bit of oversteer right there. Had another moment, Jarv did. Tax pits from the race lead. Ricochet's picked up a penalty that is in the chicane. So now this sets the 1, 2, 3 guys. Speedy Midget, Axe, and Cobra.
Tax has gone on to soft, so he's going
Nathan
aggressive
Aiken's
at the
around.
end of this race.
That's at the chicane. He was trying to go down the inside of V2 Combat, but I think it was maybe a late move, and he has been spun round.
That's the second time that's
Go down
happened
Pluto
at
down the
chicane.
inside, cannot make that work, but he makes Pluto go just a little bit wide right there, and Jarvis right on the back of him as well.
F1 driver penalty, so that doesn't help if he wants to recover back to a podium position. Oh, surely not Kagoda. Oh, he's gone off! Kagoda's off at Degner 1. And that was odd.
Didn't get to see that. I was just checking F1 driver. It showed invalidated lap time. I was just curious. That might have been a warning for that. I was just checking that because again, didn't think I'd miss things. But, you know, that's probably going to be known again. I missed something during when that happened. ARL Cobra is trying to challenge Axe for a podium position. But for the first time, Speedy Midget is trying to win a race, is trying to even get on the podium as well. Currently sits in the race lead as things stand. But Axe Cobra's within DRS. V2 Combat gets by Jarv as well just before 130R. Paulo might try it. Cannot do so, but he might try it in the chicane this time. He might go down the inside. He will. Jarv has damage. Keep that in mind, but they're banging wheels. Past halfway. Sam Cole just 4/10 away from Ricochet. This is for 5th. Ricochet also trying to catch F1 driver. Let's do a penalty check. Speedy Midget, 1 warning. Axe, 2 warnings. Cobra, 2 warnings. F1 driver, a penalty. Ricochet, a penalty. Maybe 2. Sam Cole, that's a warning, or 2 warnings actually. Such J, 1 warning. Jab, 2 penalties. Tax, has 2 warnings. Well, keep in mind, I mean, yeah, we have senior 2 retirements. They've both been in the pit lane. They've both been retired, you know, not off of breaking your wheel, but it's been impressive from the crashes so far. There's not been many of them in this race. I know Kagoda gone off. I know we had Kostag off, Atlanta off at one point, but we've kept it clean so far. V2 Combat, though, down the inside of Pluto before 130R. He's going to be able to make the move. He is clear of him.
Yeah, this race is
Cole
starting
and
to prove
Ricochet.
that we can race at Japan.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Pluto comes to pit. He's probably doing hard to soft, but Sam Cole, his Ricochet did lock up. He almost ran in the back of him, and that could have been a close call between them two. But for the race lead, it is 5.4 seconds between Speedy Midget and Axe.
Dominance. Speedy Midget since that spin from F1 driver. This win is getting closer. It's not done yet. Not saying it is, but his gap, his pace, unbelievable job.
Axe got in the grass, but Cobra, he's there to take advantage of that because he just saw the mistake Axe made, and he is there for second place right now. Cobra cannot get there just yet, but he may have a shot into 130R and the final chicane if he gets close enough to, with overtake button engaged. Is he going to overtake it? Or is he going to engage it? Yes, he is, just for a moment. But yeah, he cannot get close enough to Axe right there. Cannot go for an overtake that yet.
He wants to. I think he might go for it with the DRS. Goes a bit deep into the right-hander of the chicane, and has lost a bit of time here.
Sam Cole also trying a ricochet. These two have been back and forth at it a few times. Now he goes down the inside on the pit lane straight. Now Sam Cole is ahead.
Tax on jab as well. He's starting to make moves on those soft tyres. He's up to 8th place, which would, to be fair, even this would be quite a good result under Tax's standards for this game so far. So he's doing a very good job and is starting to make that alternate strategy work.
Jab almost had what happened to Patriot yesterday, where clipping a curb and almost spinning. Jab was lucky to keep it out of the grass that time, but he was very close to a similar slide of Patriot, and he kept it straight this time, unlike yesterday. But the gap between the race lead just formed back a little bit. 5.6 between Speedy Midget and Axe. And V2 Combat, another penalty for him. Keep in mind, though, the penalty situation. Speedy Midget, he's all fine. Axe is all fine. Cobra is all fine. F1 driver is a penalty, though. So the top three, Cobra and Axe, are both on 2 warnings. As things stand, they probably want to be in a better position right now, because that could easily be for collision, or that could easily be for yeah.
Cobra's going for it. He's got overtake.
Nathan Aiken picks up a penalty, but Cobra, he's going to go around the left side. He's going to go around the outside. Cannot do so. Axe is ahead. Wheel dominance. Simple as that. Wheel has been covered by 7 of the top 10 drivers right now. Safety car would change everything right now, and I think that's the last thing any of the top 3 would want to see. You have the first pad player, Such J, but it's a wheel top 6, and there's a yellow flag. That's Atlanta spun with a front wing broken.
Oh, he's being slow about it. He's letting the McLaren through. That is the race leader.
Doesn't want to be a pain, I guess, which is a good thing. But he has front wing damage as things stand. Paulo as well. He's close to a points position with V2 Combat. But keep in mind, Pluto is going to be able to charge possibly. And he might get off penalties because... Oh, Paulo is trying to move V2 out of the way. But no, keep in mind, because V2 has a lot of penalties. Could Pluto on those softs charge to get to V2 in time. But Paulo, after a game glitch and after trying everything he cannot get by this time. Yeah, after a poor start from a game glitch, that's what happens. And Brute Gorgon and Atlantis, they've tangled at the chicane.
Oh.
Any speeds? Wow. That's not good. V2 and Paulo, though. 210 separate them. And yeah, Atlantis is retired from the session. I was kind of not surprised about that one. F1 drivers also caught up to third and second as well for the podium spots as well. Remember, he has a penalty, so he's going to have to try to get as far away from Sam Cole and Ricochet as he can with the penalty. But no, keep in mind, I mentioned this because Pluto is charging on those soft tires. So is Nathan Aiken. And if a safety car were to come out or if trouble were to happen, if they could get close enough, it's the fastest lap is set. If they could get close enough, things may happen because yellow flags. Don't know who that is, but that's Atlantis. Never mind. But as things said, fastest lap for him. As I was gonna say, as things stand, almost the PNB safety car curse. I'm right. But yeah. The thing is, if problems do happen, V2 Combat, who has many penalties, could possibly suffer and could possibly fall down the order. He's probably going to fall down the order already from Polo, so that's going to hurt enough. And 4.9 seconds between the race lead.
Just remember as well, Cobra is still in the championship lead, as the current results would show. But what he would want is to extend it even more by getting past Axe late on here. So he's got to be patient. He knows that, and that's something he has improved on for sure. Racecraft is becoming a lot better from what we saw early last season, which cost him quite a lot of points in the championship.
Not even that, just mistakes of not even his own doing. I mean, yes, Bahrain was a mistake,
but
of
his
own doing, but there's a Brute Gorgon. Nothing that caused a safety car, but yeah, that's true. I was gonna say with Cobra, there was mistakes not even of his own, and there were days where he probably could have capitalized if luck was on his side. He's complained before about getting held in the pit lane. We've seen that come into play before in the Williams when that's the car you should not get held in the pit lane with, but he got held in the pit lane multiple times on numerous occasions last season, and that was not what he needed for the championship because he needed to capitalize on mistakes with Boker, and that didn't happen. Hungary, he had the DRS failure, which he only finished 4th or 5th or 6th, something like that, so that didn't help at all. So there was many races that had happened that last season that he's probably having better luck so far this season. I mean, the start of the season, it was pace that was his problem. Bahrain, he did the 2-stop. I don't think that did so well for him. He had no pace in China. Azerbaijan, it was just a podium, just was decent pace. And today, he is challenging for the podium spots again. And it is third again. This would be the 11th third place finish for him if that's the case as well. Square says, act slow.
He's actually gaining though, in all fairness.
Yeah, that's true. He has got that gap down because if Speedy Midget does make a mistake or does pick up a penalty, Axe could be there to capitalize. Just keep that in mind. It's going to be very close. Speedy Midget, 1 warning. Axe, 2 warnings. Cobra, just with the 2 warnings. Yellow flags, that's again. That is, this time.
Kostag.
I don't know who that is. Who was that? Yellow
yeah, he's also
was that the
down.
back marker? Kostag was. Okay. That's why. 4.2 between the race leaders. We come to 2 laps to go. This time, Axe looking for a second podium in ARL. While F1 driver does look for redemption from earlier of trying to get back to a podium spot. ARL Cobra as well looks for a 21st podium in the 75th ever ARL race. And Speedy Midget as well, trying to be the 34th, I want to say, different winner in the league. Let me check that right now. Yes, it would be 35th, though.
35 in 75 races. That is not a bad stat. Yeah. So good to see all these winners and everyone getting equal opportunities.
It's good to see. Axe as well going to return to the podium, but what this is going to make, though, with Speedy Midget, if he does win the race, the 62nd different guy on podium. That's insane. That's also insane. I just want to check Axe and Cobra's last sectors. Their first sectors. 32.9 for the first sector through Axe. Through the first sector for Cobra, 32.7. So you can just tell Cobra's gaining, but will it be enough with 2 laps to go to be able to overtake Axe? And there's another yellow flag. That is the Ferrari. That may be Jab, but no, that's the AlphaTauri. I think letting people go, that's Cobra.
Yeah, I think he's just having a nice Sunday reserve drive at this point, and I don't blame him. He doesn't really have anything to play for, so he's just making it easy for those an entire lap in front of him.
Well, about to be the last lap. There's an yellow flag. That's Brute Gorgon. Yes, that is. How did I know? About to be 2 laps down, in fact. But we come to the final lap this time. 3.6 the gap is between the race lead. Cobra, will he try a last lap dive by chance? And yeah, Kostag as well. Another Sunday drive as well. Causing yellow flags. Axe sits ahead of Cobra. It's 4/10 between the two. Barely any overtake left for both of them, but Cobra with the DRS into turn 1 this time. He's not going to be brave enough, but he's going to try the long way around. Could not do so. Ricochet goes by Sam Cole as well. That's a position trade for them as well.
Yeah, ultimately, though, Ricochet has that 5-second penalty that will be added post-race, so he will lose a couple of positions, but fair play. He's driving really well today, and that's very encouraging.
I just want to keep in mind because of China. 17 laps in the mediums for these guys. 16 laps, 15 laps. Keep in mind a puncture is possible. We've seen it before. ABS Sharp gets by Pluto. Pluto doesn't look like he'll be scoring any points today at all. Positions gained. Not many for the top 3. Speedy Midget started second, gained a position right there. Axe with 2. Started down in 4th. Axe might be back in the podium if he can just not bin it on these last laps. He'll be back in the podium for the first time in 19 races, but it will probably be the first for Speedy Midget if he can hang on here without a puncture. Five-tenths separate second and third as well. 5th and 6th battles. But what a drive. What a race for Speedy Midget. The first time on the podium. The first ever for him. It's a first win for Speedy Midget. He takes the win in Japan. And Axe and Cobra come second and third. And because Kostag has retired on the final lap with Pluto having trouble as well.
Championship lead then confirmed for ARL Cobra. Fantastic drive, say. Unlucky to not get past Axe. There's not many overtaking opportunities. It's either the first corner...
Oh, with a puncture!
Oh, not again.
It's again, but he might be able to get 10th to the line. He's just 2 seconds away, and he's got a puncture on the last lap. Again! Best result for Sam Cole as well. Keep that in mind. Tax best result of the season.
Well, 3 things are certain in life, and that is death, taxes, and a polo god puncture. Why always him?
And that time zone curse still continues for Polo, and I'm happy about it. Anyways. Wow, what a race that was for Speedy Midget. Good job on your first win.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, just want to say about the incident with me and F1 driver. I don't really know what happened there. I left him as much room as I could. It's on my stream, so I'll go back and find the clip. But I feel like it was a racing incident, and I'm just upset that that happened because I wanted to have a good fight with him. But I guess I don't know if he just understood or it wasn't enough room. But yeah, it was a good win though. It was nice to win here. Yeah, this is obviously a very good league. Yeah, just really happy right now. Thanks.
On the podium for the first time.
Yeah, it's nice seeing my McLaren guy on the podium, obviously. In Baku, I was thinking about getting the podium, but obviously that didn't happen, and I just raced this for William Singer, I guess. I was thinking about him before the race. Quite upset before the race, and on my lap in qualifying, I was on for a 25.6 now. bottled it through the last chicane. So I was just thinking, get a good start, try and get past F1 driver, and I did just that. So yeah, that was for William. Yeah, really know what to say about that.
So far this season, 3. I'm counting the numbers. 5, 6, 7. Now we have had 9 different drivers on the podium this season. I think that ties how much we had last season in 11 in a 13 race season for Tier 1 last season. So definitely, you can definitely say a more competitive season, and I think that's what we are glad to see. ARL
Oh,
Cobra, I have some good news for you.
Yeah, I lead the championship. Yay.
Uh, does this game continue to surprise you?
Yeah, both negatively and positively.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Uh, and we have like every check in the checklist. That's nice. Look at the game. Oh my lord. Anyways, may as well start. You guys make sure you include your audio. Speedy Midget, I may as well start with you. Definitely an emotional race for you going into this race. I talked to you previously, earlier this week. You knew how I knew how much you wanted to win. You wanted to win this race so badly. Congratulations, first off, and tell me about that race, and tell me what the incident about F1.
Firstly, thank you. Yeah, and the incident with F1 driver, I feel like I left more than enough room. I don't know. I was on the outside. I kept it going way wide through that line, and I feel like he just understood into me, to be honest. But obviously, if he opens a ticket about it, I'll have to try and find a clip and see. But I feel like it was a racing incident. I don't really know about that. Just kind of sad for him because I was having a good battle with him that whole race until he tried to go for that one overtake and it didn't really pay off for him. So yeah, so overall pretty. After he spun, it was just trying to manage my tires to the finish. I think I ended on 75% tire wear. I was really, really close in the last 5 laps. I was just going so slowly through the S section, trying to just hold on, and luckily I did. Yeah, it's a really happy race for me.
Yeah, it's your first podium. It's your first win. You're the 35th different winner, the 62nd different podium finisher in the 75th ever ARL race. I know that's a lot of stats to think about. How happy are you with that one? And you have now been the 4th different winner in 4 different races as well for Tier 1.
Oh, I guess that just shows how competitive this league is. 4 different winners in 4 races. It's gonna be really tight for the championship. I'm not sure if I'm in the championship fight because I didn't have a really good first few races. But yeah, I'm really looking to racing here in the future, see if I can get any more podiums, any more good battles for the leads. Really good.
And Japan, you could definitely say now was a wheel track. You guys literally dominated with that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't even think I have enough fingers on my left hand to count that. That's insane. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for the wheel players. How happy are you to have all these wheel players with you to have now a chance at a race victory? I know it won't last for long, but how happy are you to have the one race at least of the season where everyone says Pat is OP in this game, but how happy are you to have the chance to win as a wheel player in this race? And you are the first wheel player to win the season.
Oh wow, really? That's cool. Well, yeah, this game is unfortunately quite biased for pad users, and Japan's obviously a wheel track, so yeah, it's nice to see some wheel players doing well at this track. Obviously, what happened with Jack in the race? I think he just may have spun somewhere or he retired in the pit lane. So I kind of feel bad for him there. But yeah, since this is a wheel track, I'm just kind of happy that I raced my best, got the win, and yeah, it's just really good to see a lot of wheel people on the podium as well.
Congratulations on the dub. And Milo Gaming, do you have any questions for our race winner, Mr. Lulu?
Firstly, congratulations to Mr. Lulu.
Thank you.
Yeah, you mentioned just then about the championship, and I know you didn't have the best of starts, but if you could take a look at the tracks that are upcoming, how do you rate your chances of actually getting back into this fight?
Let's see. The next race is France. I feel quite comfortable at France, to be honest. It's a track that I liked on the last game. I like on this game as well. I'm not sure if it's good for paddle. We'll find out then, I guess. But races like Hungary, Belgium, Singapore, I guess those are probably my best chances for getting a win. And yeah, there's quite a few pad tracks like Austria's just after France. That will be a bit of a challenge. Yeah, think just on the wheel tracks I can do as best as I can. I'll definitely be able to get a few wins. I'm not sure about the championship though right now. Yeah.
Ooh,
All right.
F1 drivers opened a ticket. Oh. Anyway,
Oh.
Indeed.
yeah.
Oh
Just
boy.
congratulations on the win. And
Free up
Milo, you
Speedy
may as
Midget.
well
Agreed.
Milo, you may as well continue with Axe for second while I go quickly beer back. You may as well continue with him, and Axe, make sure you include your audio.
Well, let me guess. PMB's definitely gone to go and get a water. That's his favourite phrase when streaming. But Axe, well done. Long streak is over. You kept Cobra behind. How was that at the end? Because you actually started to gain. How were the tyres?
The tires weren't bad at the end. They got to 72, 73 on the worst one. So they were in puncture range at the end. But yeah, it was a kind of quiet race. Kind of just ran my own thing. It wasn't as fast as the top two. And then when F1 driver got spun, I kind of again. And I think it gave Cobra life as well. And he came back into my DRS. And we had just back and forth between like 8/10 and 5/10 the whole entire race. And just managed to hold him off at the end. I pulled within 3.5 seconds of midget, so if there is any kind of 5-10 second penalty after stewarding, I would not be mad about that. I'm not sure what happened exactly in the one, but I'll take that best result in ARL regardless. Second place. It's been a while since we've been on the podium. Way back in Italy, season 1 was the last time, so yeah, I can't say the same about Jack though. Jack had a tough race, so good for one side of the garage and the other one just not his day.
Yeah, you almost kind of answered my second question there. I was about to say mixed day for Williams, but you actually opened a ticket about Parc Ferme. What was it? Did he not put a setup on, or did he put the wrong setup on?
He put his old Japan setup on, which had increased tire pressures, and he couldn't change the pressures. He could only do the front wing, so his tires were dead after lap 2. So
Panic indeed.
it's not
Like Milo
good.
guessed, I did grab a water.
Yes. Yeah.
Anyway, I do have questions though. This is your first podium in 19 races. It's only your second. How happy are you with that result?
I'm very happy with that. It's kind of like I said before. It's a bit mixed because of Jack not having a good day. So the team we didn't gain too much in constructors. But I think I could get some more podiums this season. Yeah, I like the schedule coming up, and especially towards the back end of the season, I have some good tracks. So I'm looking forward to trying to grab some more good results this season.
Congratulations on second. Milo, did you have any other questions that I interrupted or something?
No, it's fine.
Okay. Cobra, now it's your turn. Include your audio. This is your 11th third place finish. Are you just aiming for third place finishes? Because like half your podiums have been third place finishes. Are you just addicted to third place at this point, or is the game addicted to the third place at this point? What's the deal with that?
Well, halfway through the race, I thought I was addicted to fourth place, but obviously F1 driver unfortunately had his incident with Speedy. I literally have no clue what happened. Can't lie, I was kind of happy about it because more points, but obviously unfortunate for him. Yeah, Axe was too consistent, really. Just really like a machine.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the
Um,
question you asked me, but that's the answer.
I mean, yeah, nah, it was. But I do want to ask though. This is kind of similar to the season 1 vibes a little bit, to the way the season has started. You look back at season 1, you had the second at France, third or second at Bahrain, and then just like thirds. Okay, we can put it that way. Third at Brazil, third at USA, and so on. That was the first 4 races. Now, for the first 4 races for you, it's been fourth, third, or you're second, third. So you're around that second, third, fourth area, and it's kind of the way you started off your season in season 1, where you gone on to win the championship. You're now leading the championship at race 4. Is there any confidence to be thrown at with you? What are you looking like with this?
I mean, obviously, as we know, I think Sebastian Vettel said this very well once. The championship is decided on the last race, not in the middle. But it's good when when you're leading the championship, you know that other people have to take risks to knock you off your perch. Where when you're sat on the perch, I don't have to do anything now. If I just beat the people who I'm fighting against, I'm fine. But they have to beat me now, if that makes sense. So like, it's kind of more difficult for them. Obviously, unfortunate what happened with William Singer. To be honest, obviously Speedy being a very close sort of friend, I guess I could say, of his. I'm glad that he won today. I don't think anyone deserved it more. He was incredible through practice, and in the race he was a machine. So,
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, very good respect by you too. I was gonna say, heading into France now, and you do love the Sebastian Vettel quotes. I will say that too. But heading into France now, you go to a track where you've been up front. I mean, both races in the DRS train that's happened there. I know you're gonna quote me on that later on today with the DRS trains, but
I want DRS trains, bro.
Yes. I was gonna say you've been at podium both times. You've been fighting for the win both times. Do you think this is your season to win at France? Do you think you'll be up there? What do you think? Because you did say in China you didn't really have much pace, but you still got 4th.
China now, because I literally didn't play F1 all week, and I was really slow because of that. And with how much of a shit show that race was, I probably could have easily got a podium if not a win. But that's my fault. I really didn't like the track, and I just decided not to practice. So obviously that's my fault, and I'm going to take the blame for that because obviously it's mine. It's my fault, and I think in general, like if I look at GSR and then ARL, I think I've been quite consistent, and I'm looking forward to France. It's a high-speed track. A lot of more overtaking opportunities in this one, and probably a fat DRS train, but we'll just have to wait and see. Hopefully I can. There goes once again. But anyway, I'm just looking forward to the next few races. Hopefully they're quite fun and I can get some good results.
Hopefully, congratulations on 3rd. Milo, do you have any questions?
Well, all of my questions and answers were kind of.
I do want to speak about you quickly about that race, Milo. Wouldn't you agree? It's always nice to see something different. 9 of the last 11 races before today were all won by pad players. It's always nice to see something different, and I think you can agree.
Ola just went off mid-interview again. Did I miss something?
I said, it's always nice seeing something different because the 9 of the last 11 races before today were all won by pad players. Isn't it nice seeing something different like that? With a wheel player winning?
It is, and
All on podium?
Wait, Speedy's on wheel?
Yes.
Yeah.
Since when?
Oh, I don't know, since
Idiot.
2019.
since
What
you
is
bought
this?
it,
Everyone
I
told me
think
he was on
the
pad.
better answer.
Really? Everyone thought it was on pads.
If he was
I
on
never
pad, he
knew.
wouldn't have won today.
Yeah,
that is
if I was on
crazy.
pad, I would have been maybe 10th. Because-
Polo had the best, or Jab had the best qualifying on pad, I think, today.
I was on the wheel.
So
Fair enough to you, mate. Your start was incredible as well. Jesus.
Yeah, thanks. I was just, hoping for
You
a
had a
good
bad
launch and
start
it
today.
worked.
Me? Oh, mate, I have stinkers every week.
got
Should have
beat
seen
in
my start in Monaco
yesterday,
yesterday, and he got
beat
past by like
today.
5
Yeah.
cars. I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get him off the start. I'm gonna get him off the start. I was nowhere near. But it's all good.
Anyways, I was gonna say, Milo, what you would agree though? It's nice to see something different because now with F1 games, you've seen just the pad players dominate, and it's just it is kind of boring to see sometimes. Maybe most of the time, I should say, with the wheel players in this party. I'm surrounded by all wheel players. I'm scared. Anyways, no, I would say it is nice to see something different, and I think you'd agree because it was 9 of the 13 races were won by pad players, and there was 2 winners who were pad, 2 winners who were wheel. So yeah. Wouldn't you agree?
Boca.
Oh,
Yeah. Very refreshing race, if you like. Japan. Wow, what circuit, and nice to see not so many incidents compared to Tier 3 and Tier 2. But yeah, all 3 that were on the podium today massively deserved it. Flawless from all 3 of them, and can only wish them the best going forward later in this season. And yeah, really enjoyed that one.
And we head to France now. I feel like that track is balanced on both platforms of pad wheel. What are you expecting from pad wheel into that race, Milo, for all tiers?
Yeah. Due to our agreement on the balance of it, it's actually quite hard to predict. But yeah, those who run lower downforce maybe, and can manage it might come off better. You never know. It could go to anyone really. It's not a track where we'll necessarily see too many safety cars, so getting the race pace practice in is massively important, and those who do and get the setup right will feel the benefit.
Yeah. Well, we're on to France now. I was gonna say, Axe, Squared popped in the chat and said you sucked. Were you actually sucking during today's race? Do you want to prove him
I
wrong?
was sucking air.
Yeah.
I'm sweaty.
Yeah, Square was waffling. Axe.
That was one of my better races I think I've had in a while, so it's been a good weekend.
You guys really, and isn't it crazy to think as well? We're gonna ask you all. Isn't it crazy to think how I would say uncompetitive. I'll put it that way. How uncompetitive last season was compared to how competitive this season is now. 9 different guys on podiums.
So dead.
Nine different
Season
different
was
guys
so
on podiums
dead.
the whole season last season in 13 races. But now we have like 9 different guys in 4 races on the podium. That's insane to think. Wouldn't you guys agree? That's insane.
I think
Yeah.
we're in for more of the same.
Yeah.
Who will be the 5th different
Same.
winner then? That's my question.
Jov, easily.
Nice joke.
Cobra still needs.
Yeah, I'm thinking F1 driver or Cobra, but I will
Yeah,
say
that's what I'll
um,
pick.
I will say though, there's gonna be one time, and only one time this season only, where V2 shines and gets on the podium or just a win, one of the two. He's just gonna do it at least one time, a win or podium, don't matter.
If
He's
he-
just gonna one time.
If he
Oh,
can
he
get the
shined a
penalties
lot
down,
today.
if he if he could get the penalties down, I think he might be able to do something at USA.
Yeah, because
Yeah, he's pretty fast in
GSR.
GSR.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. All right, well, Speedy Mid joining back the lobby. Oh.
Hello.
Now on to the
Anyways.
real race.
Yeah, for the real race, yeah.
Just practice.
Anyways, make sure we all tune in to Japan next weekend. All 3 tiers will be back there for racing there for the 5th race of the season. We've seen 4 different winners in Tier 2 and Tier 1 already so far this season. Will we see a 5th in both them? Tiers, Tier 1, Tier 2. We'll have to find out how the championship fight goes. Make sure you tune in next week for Japan. Yeah, we're going back to Japan, boys. No, make sure you tune in
See,
for...
that was only practice.
Yeah, it was only practice, yeah. Make
Yeah,
sure you tune in
exactly.
Make sure you tune in for France next week, and we'll see you then. Thank you guys for watching.